Anybody there? Waiting to see if anybody is going to join us today. Join us? I'm a person. Join me. Oh, do I need to hold the microphone? I always forget about that. So we got 5 people on right now. Janet is here. My name is Jax West. I run Stephen Avery Project as well as this offshoot, the Gossip Group, which we've debated. Hi, Carla, and your BFF, Richard, because I know you guys just can't get enough of me and always have to watch everything I do. Kind of stalkers. So yeah, Carla's talking shit, telling people to ask why we changed the name of Gossip, which is kind of a dumb thing to say. Well, everything Carla says is dumb. I got tired of people bitching about in here in Gossip. I share other cases in here. And I open that up for other people to as well, to bring up other cases, other thing other documentaries, whatever. We don't do that on Stephen Avery Project. Stephen Avery Project, we keep just about Stephen for the most part. Sometimes I'll plug Melissa Kaluzinski's stuff there because Melissa's case deserves to be in the spotlight. So I'll put it there where we have a lot of people. So then people are always complaining that this is making a murderer. You shouldn't discuss anything else here, blah, 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 blah. Which it's called Gossip. Yes, it was called MAM Gossip, but Gossip can cover anything. So I got sick and tired of the complaints, and so I changed it to Gossip Project, taking out making a murderer. That's what the name change was for. Because I was tired of the whining. And then we changed the name, and then they're still whining. I like it better if it was the other way, blah, blah, blah. So I know one of the moderators made a poll saying who wants the name to go back to MAM Gossip as opposed to Gossip Project. I can't change the name until the end of this month because it only lets you change the name every 30 days. And I changed it December 28th. So, because I looked. So, that's why Gossip got changed. I've never hidden that. I don't know why she's such an idiot. Well, because she's an idiot. So, I know the moderators. Well, one moderator doesn't care what the name is, I believe, and other moderators wanted to go back to MAM Gossip. But just know, no matter what the name is here, we're going to discuss other cases. We're not going to just discuss Stephen and Brendan. So if you want a place that only discusses Stephen and Brendan, then you go to Stephen Avery Project. We have the Stephen Avery Project public page. And then there's a group, just like this group, called Stephen Avery Project that is only talking about the case. So go there if you don't want to hear about any other cases or documentaries or any of the bullshit that surrounds Stephen's case. Simple enough, right? So, all right, let me scroll through and see if we have any questions here. No, right now we just have people saying hi. So I said we haven't gone live in a little bit. I've been busy. I was out of town for a little bit. So, and we were supposed to be getting some big snow here and I'd be snowed in. So I had said yesterday we'd go live either yesterday or today. And then yesterday I ended up binging a YouTube. I don't do YouTube, sorry. Netflix show. So I didn't go live yesterday. And then today I've just been laying around like a slug all day, but people were asking if we're going to go live. So I'm like, all right, I'll pop on. So here I am. So we can discuss whatever you want. Otherwise, I'm just going to rant about things. And there you go. Katie says, I don't care what it's called, just like reading all sorts of stuff in cases. Joy says, I don't care what the name is. I was in the live when you discussed changing the name. Dondi says, sounds like a great idea, Jax. I hope you're having a great Saturday. I've been having a lazy Saturday where I literally just have the ID channel on and watching all these true crime stories. My boyfriend's been out plowing since yesterday. So it's 2 p.m. my time, and yeah, I didn't see him at all yesterday either. So he's out plowing somewhere. And we didn't get nearly as much snow. I know the background is just showing like white because of all the snow out there. What did we get? 3, 4? They were saying we were going to get as much as like 8. But I think there's only like 3 out there. Let me scroll down. Julie, what's up with the trespassing crapola? Well, I got a ticket from Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I still have it here from the last live. Oops, that's showing my address. Not that it matters. People find where I live anyway. Saying that I was there on December 5th and I was trespassing at a place that I haven't been on a date that I wasn't there. So that is that. Janet, I'm obsessed with the ID channel. Always have it on. Debbie says, yes, I don't care what the name is either. Tony says, free them boys. Caroline says, what did you binge watch? Not true crime. It was a show called You. I guess it was like originally on network TV, or no, like Lifetime, I think it was, which is really weird because it's a show that had been described to me that it was like Dexter like. So it was like a Lifetime show or something and didn't do well, and then it got put on Netflix. So there's like 10 episodes or something like that, and I watched them all yesterday. Mindy says, my husband wants me to cancel all the cable channels except for the ID channel because that's all I watch. Yeah, it's like background for me. I either have that on or a news channel. Lynn says, is anything going on with Melissa's case since her dad's live? There are a couple developments in Melissa's case, but I can't discuss at this time. We will be going live with Paul at some point where you guys can talk with them with Paul. But yeah, there's stuff going on that I can't talk about. But stay tuned, and if you can, write to Melissa. She really, really loves getting letters from people, and she will write you back. And she is the sweetest thing ever. You know, so Melissa absolutely will write you back. She loves to draw, so you can talk to her about that. And she loves like Halloween and scary movies and all that kind of stuff. So, and Melissa's dad is doing well. I talked to him a couple times yesterday. One thing he called me about, this was funny. He was driving, and all of a sudden there was a man right next to the street, completely naked, no shoes, nothing, standing by the road. naked. He calls me. He's like, you won't believe what just happened. And he said a cop was pulling up or whatever. So, really odd because yeah, he's in Chicagoland too, and it was like 28 degrees yesterday. Karen says, whatever happened with the court papers that were sent to you? If you posted about it, I must have missed it. I was given a trespassing ticket from Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department, and I have a court date. So that's what that is. And hey, Kimberly, Nande says, we used to have ID, and we lost it when we went to the Fire Stick. We didn't get as much shows as we thought either. Yeah, we were on satellite. And then satellite has some fight with HBO, so we didn't have HBO. And so Jeff got tired of, we thought we'd get that it would end quick and that we'd get HBO back, and we weren't. So he switched us to Comcast so we could have HBO, but we have far less channels with Comcast than we did with satellite. So it's always, you're going to have problems with something, because I always hated satellite because it seemed like if the wind blew, our satellite service would go out. It was so annoying. Now we just don't have as many channels. Brittany says, there's only so much we can talk about with MAM until we have new news. I support other cases of innocent people. Right, Brittany? I'm like, yeah, if there's nothing to talk about in Stephen's case, what's the big deal if we're going to talk about the Jamie case, which I'm not up to date on, so don't ask me about the Jamie case. But I don't get what the big deal is. And if you don't want to hear about other cases, like, again, I know next to nothing on the Jamie case. You skip those threads. It's really simple for me. Dondi says, my husband and I watched you and thought it was really interesting. Watched me on what? Or if you're just talking about the last live. Oh, you. Watched you. Okay. I'm forgetting what that was show. Yeah, it reminded me of Dexter a little bit. I like Dexter better, but I still liked it. Oh, Judy, first time gotten live. Yay. Yeah, I know. I pop on at weird times. Nicola says, I've just watched you, better than I thought. Debbie says, did you see how Laura, that medium, was spot on with just about everything? No, I don't follow psychic stuff. Julie says, was it sweaty standing naked but not cold because of all his sweat? Yeah. Maybe we could use him to, so like my driveway is still covered in snow because my boyfriend's out plowing everywhere else. So maybe if he would just come walk my driveway, it would melt it all. Yeah, Katya, that's a Halloween decoration that's always in my window. And so every live I do, people get thrown by who's looking in your window. Andrea, did you see Manitowoc County is hiring? So if you're good at planting and magically finding stuff after looking 7 times where others looked, yeah, the comments on there are pretty funny. Oh, Debbie says, hate we can't go back and edit our own comments. Yeah, that's just on this when you go live, right? It won't let you edit stuff. That's weird. Brittany says, I don't have cable, just Netflix, Hulu, and Prime, so I look forward to watching the group. Yeah, I got a little bit of everything. Dondi says, I've been reading a lot about the Jamie Klaas case, so I may be able to answer questions if someone has a question. Yeah, go for it. I mean, you guys are free to discuss in the comments here on it. It's just not something that I can speak on because I've been dealing with local politics and stuff. So I was away for a couple of days because our new governor here in Illinois was inaugurated, and I worked for him at both his inauguration and the ball. So I was away for 3 days doing that. So I'm really hopeful that our new governor here in Illinois, and we've got a new attorney general, that they will be looking into Melissa's case and the corruption in Lake County, Illinois. Katerina says, hey, I was just wondering, what do you plan to do? I mean, how are you going to take care of that ticket? Are you ready to fight it? And are you scared to go up against a corrupt BS sheriff's department? I don't know how much I can say on that because Carla's always spying on me. And Carla and her lovely family are the ones that initiated this ticket. So I can't lay down all my cards. But there are things in the works on that ticket. I've had several people contact me on behalf of it to help me on it. And I actually have a dinner meeting this week with somebody who wants to expose the way the family treats myself and fellow supporters. So stay tuned for that. We'll see how that meeting goes. But I've also had lawyer reach out to me on this whole thing. And again, it's sad because it makes Stephen look worse on the way that his family treats supporters. Not only are they stealing money, but they attack them. So, and I've mostly I've been asked before to go public about the family, and I always chose not to because I don't want to do anything to hurt Stephen. But at this point now, I'm done with the bullshit. So I guess it'll be time to expose it. Andrea says Leah Kratz is CC's and Sweaty's love child. Gross. Julie says, ooh, that sounds juicy. Looking forward to hearing more about that. Well, I've been advised to go live on that. So, yeah. When I can tell you, you'll know. And actually, something else I can tell you, the person who keeps arranging for everybody on this is Paul Kaluzinski. So it's always humorous to me that I'm an advocate for the wrongfully accused, right? So I try to help these families however I can. I help 2 other cases, and both of those families are completely lovely. And then you have the Avery family. They're just like devil spawn. And Stephen Avery Project is the biggest support page for Stephen. There will never be a page bigger. Our page has more people than all the other groups combined. But that's who the family wants to attack. So why does the family attack the biggest support page? Oh, because I won't support them getting money for themselves. Crazy, right? Meanwhile, I'll push you constantly to go donate to the Kaluzinski GoFundMe. So it's not because I'm against family getting help. I'm against that family getting help. Because sitting on social media, you're not entitled to a paycheck for that. I know Carla likes to pretend like this is so hard to do. What? You're not entitled to money for having a Facebook group. So I won't promote any family fundraiser. And that's why I'm who they go after. Because I consistently call out the bullshit. It's always about money. Always, always about money. And what do they accuse me of? They call me a thief and say I steal money. Now, the latest I saw that Carla said is I went and visited Dolores in August and I gave her $300 in cash and I gave her a gift card. And now Carla is claiming that I'm lying about that because she's asked Dolores and allegedly Dolores has said that she didn't get any money. Well, the picture that was taken when I visited Dolores, you can see the gift card in the picture. It's not showing the cash, but wonder why Dolores doesn't want to tell Carla there's cash. Oh, she remembered my visit. She remembered I was sitting on the floor with Bandit, but she doesn't remember I gave her cash. Maybe because she knows Carla steals money and doesn't want her to know if there's any cash in the house and that Carla's going to go through and find it. You think? Maybe? Because when I visited with Dolores, she didn't have nice things to say about Carla. She and I talked about Carla. I had a friend with me, Renee, who's because Renee and I were going to Milwaukee for an event for something else. And I was like, oh, that's the halfway point to the salvage yard. Let me call Dolores and see if she'd be up for a visit. And, I'll bring her some money. And so I called Dolores and she said she was going to be running some errands, but she'd be home the rest of the afternoon. So Renee and I went up there. Renee is not now. She joined. She's in this group, but she's not somebody who's obsessed with the case or anything like that. She was stuck going with me to go up and visit Dolores because she was riding with me to the other event. So, and I'm sure nobody will take her word for it if Renee was to come on here and go, yeah, I saw her give $300. And it was $100 from me because I had planned on giving her $100. And then one of the moderators PayPal'd me $200 to give her. So she got $300 in cash. Plus I had a gift card that was just sitting here. I don't even remember how much it was for. It was a Visa gift card. I think it was like only $30 or something. And so I gave her that as well. But I'm accused of I didn't give it to her. Whatever. I don't care. You didn't see me talking ever before that I gave Dolores the money. It's not about going, oh, looky what I did. I gave money. But there's Carla wanting to say she didn't give money. Whatever. I'm scrolling again. Lily has the cake ready to go, Jax. Get it ready, Lily. Caroline says, about time someone exposes them, please. And Julie says, patience is a virtue, damn it. Katerina says, are you scared to go? And you at least have backup, right? I'm from Canada, but if I could go to support, I would. Yeah. Paul Kaluzinski is going with me. So I know one that'll be there for sure. So they want to take on Paul, go for it. Luann says, I will always have your back, Jax. Well, thank you. Jennifer says, remind us, who is Paul? Paul Kaluzinski's daughter, Melissa, is another client of Kathleen Zellner's. And her case doesn't get the attention that Stevens does, but it is Stevens and Brendan's case all rolled into one. She was 22 years old working at a daycare center in the toddler room. 16-month-old Ben was in a bouncy chair on the floor, and Melissa noticed that he had stuff coming out of his mouth and was turning color. So they call for emergency services. When Ben gets to the hospital, he's pronounced dead. Melissa is taken in for questioning. They questioned her for hours and hours and hours. Melissa has a low IQ. And she said over and over again that she didn't do anything. She didn't do anything. And then eventually they're telling her, we know it was an accident. Just say it was an accident and everything will be fine. And so then Melissa says she dropped him. And this past week was the 10-year anniversary of Melissa's incarceration. They doctored, the state doctored evidence, lied on the stand. The coroner, was it the coroner or pathologist? I don't remember who is who, testified that he felt a crack in Ben's skull and that Ben died from bleeding out from the crack in his skull from falling. And even if he had a crack in his skull, the manner to which they had Melissa say she dropped him or threw him down, he wouldn't have hit his head where they were claiming this was. The x-ray that the defense was given originally was blacked out, so you couldn't see anything. And then years later, when Paul, because Paul, I say, and he doesn't like the comparison when I say that people think of him. I think of him like Bill Ferguson from the Ryan Ferguson case. If you haven't watched Dream Killer, watch Dream Killer. It's on YouTube, I believe. Paul never gives up for his daughter. And so then he was able to find the correct x-ray, which shows that Ben's head looked like a giant light bulb. Okay? No fracture. The boy died from brain swelling. He had a prior accident. And Melissa wasn't even working at the daycare when the original accident happened. And there were records at the daycare that the daycare saw this child had a bump on his head. And they called the parents, and the parents had to take Ben to a doctor, where the doctor said everything was fine. Paul has also been releasing things, has been saying things lately that he's actually not supposed to say. So there's more to how the boy actually got the bump. But I'm not going to say it since Paul's not supposed to, and he just did recently. So I guess you can look that up if you want to see what Paul says. So that's who Paul Kaluzinski is. And I talk to Paul a million times a day and help the family however I can. And a week ago, he called a press conference since it's the 10-year anniversary that Melissa's been in prison. So, and then he's got more, and he's got more things coming up. Caroline, what about wrongful thieves? Julie says, it's just so sad that the one thing that brought supporters together destroys the real reasons for supporting. Yeah, I know. But that's why, we just hang here. We don't have to, you don't have to like Stephen's family to believe in his innocence and that this is an injustice. You don't have to like Stephen. When people want to say things about Stephen's past, yeah, he's done some things not cool. So, but again, you don't have to like him to see that he was framed and this is wrong and he didn't commit this murder. Lynn says, oh, Paul is awesome, super sweet. Yeah, he is. Tracy says, I just don't understand why they're so against you and all you want is to see the guys get out of this. They are crazy. Well, Carla and I, once upon a time, were friends. And I was organizing a rally and doing all this stuff. I did the petition. And then there was another girl who was organizing the stuff too, was helping, but she's just all about, she wants all the press. And one of Carla's minions, who had nothing to do with planning the Manitowoc rally, she had reached out to press herself to talk to press for whatever, because again, people just want to talk to press. And so then she contacted us saying that they wanted to talk to the three of us. It was me and two other girls that were organizing this together. And so the minion wanted to do a Facebook call with all of us to talk about it. And then the other two girls didn't take the call, only I did. And so the minion was saying that they wanted the contact information for us to follow up with us for this article they were going to write. And the minion wasn't going to just give our information and, wanted to know if we were okay with it. So then I messaged the other two and said that, okay, it's because minion, blah, blah, blah. So the one bitch flips out that this is my event and I'm the only one that gets to talk to the press. And then so she throws this big tantrum, and she used to throw a lot of tantrums that she would say she quits and then she's back and then she quits and then she's back. And so this girl was flipping out and then telling me that now I can no longer be a part of it because it is her event. And I'm like, it's not your event. And so then she would run and bitch to Carla that I have to go. And so then Carla contacted me and told me what I was going to do. And she said that, that she could play rank and that we have to do as she says. And I said, oh, yeah, that's not how this works. You're not the boss of me. So in the meantime, too, while I was even on the phone with her, I was at my boyfriend's print shop making all this shit for the rally. And so I just let Carla know. I wasn't bitchy about it, thinking of Carla as my friend, but just letting her know, oh, yeah, you're not the boss. I'm the one that Manitowoc had told me they were going to charge $2,000 for us to have a rally there. And so I went to the Wisconsin ACLU, and then the Wisconsin ACLU got involved, and then they started talking to the Manitowoc Sheriff's Department on my behalf, where they told them they have to now turn over any communication where they've ever mentioned my name, that Manitowoc in any private emails or memos or whatever, that they have to turn it over to the ACLU. And so eventually ACLU negotiated it to, it was zero cost. Imagine that. I didn't have to pay $2,000 now. It was my name on the permit. It was my name with the police department on who to talk to in case of problems. I did all the organizing for this event. Other people just wanted to talk to the press, where I'm like, talk to the press. I don't give a shit. I don't need to talk to the press. That's not what I'm here for. And so then the next day, so this is 2 days prior to the rally. The next day, I find out that we are now shut off from the petition that we wrote, the Juvenile Interrogation Protection Law. Because what happened with that petition is some whack job from England is the one who originally wrote or made a petition calling it Brendan's Law or some shit. And she wrote it all wrong. And also, nobody in the States cares about what somebody from another country has to say about our laws. Nobody's going to take it seriously. I work with Injustice Anywhere. They're the ones that started the freebrendan.org and the Free Brendan Dassey Facebook page that I'm the admin of. So we're the ones that then fixed that petition. The original girl wanted out because of various reasons. She's just a psycho, this girl. But all of a sudden now, after me telling Carla she's not the boss of me, the very next day we're closed out from the petition. Because see, since Whack Job had originally started it, she would always have the chance to get a recovery password to get back in. And Carla knew that. So we're locked out of the petition, and Carla contacted my partner from Injustice Anywhere telling him I'm a thief. So of course he's messaging me telling me what Carla has done. She thought she was going to turn him against me, I guess. I don't know, but it's really dumb because that's just not going to happen. He's somebody who sees what's going on, and he's not somebody I met because of Making a Murderer. I've known him since high school, and I've known his wife since the first grade. So you're kind of not gonna be, reach out to him, and he's not gonna let me know on what happened there. So ever since then, I've been the enemy to Carla. So, they went ahead with that rally that I organized, and they did a camp out where they took money from people. They did an auction where they took money from people, and to this day, people have not received the items from the auction. Stuff just went missing. And then they keep pointing the fingers at everybody else. And it was, so the idiot who threw the fit that this is her, blah, blah, blah. She said that she mailed the stuff to Barb for Barb to disperse, because then she didn't want any part of it, because now you guys are busted that you took this fucking money. Oh, sorry, swearing. And then when Barb got it, she's like, oh no, this has nothing to do with me. Barb doesn't want the stuff. And then she shipped it back. And so idiot number one claims she doesn't have it, that Barb has it. And Barb claims that idiot number one has it. So meanwhile, I know the money they collected at that, Carla and her minions divided it up first and paid themselves, when that money was supposed to be split evenly between Brendan and Steven. Brendan and Steven did get some money, but they're getting the scraps left over after Carla paid herself and her friends. And this is what Barb said, because Barb was livid. Because this was back when Barb and Carla hated each other, because those two women, their whole lives, hate each other, then tolerate each other, then hate each other, then tolerate each other. So, all right. So there's a little bit more on that history. Let me do some scrolling. Nandi says, I think Steven and Brendan need the money, and that is the only place I want it to go to. Right. That's what I tell people, and so I get in trouble with the family because I say put money in Steven and Brendan's commissaries. Don't give it to the family. Put it in their commissaries. If they're freed, they get to take that money with them, and the family can't get their clutches in it. So just put it in the commissary. Let Stephen and Brendan determine what they want to do with their own money. Dondi says, maybe Dolores said that because she didn't want Carla to know. You think. Right. Katerina says, probably because Carla would ask for the money or take it. Yeah, because Stephen told me Carla used to ask him for money. Oh, I need new tires. And his answer is always get a job. I know Carla likes to post and make it out like she works so much. Lie. But if your job's not covering things, then get another one. You have your freedom. Go get a job. Or go sell a second house. Or go sell some of your toys. Sell your convertible, Carla. Ev says, right from the get-go, and Carla, it was always about money. That's why I left all their groups. It's disgusting. Right. I hate the money thing. I hate it. I hate it. That's the bulk of what we talk about. Every time I'm on here, I'm talking about how I'm accused of being a thief or they're stealing money. I hate it. Jennifer asks, who is Paul? I explained that a little bit ago, so hopefully you saw it. Oh, and then you said, thank you for clarifying. That's terrible. Moderator says 78 times Melissa said she didn't do it. Donde says, KZ did a great job for Ryan Ferguson, and I believe she will do the very same thing for Stephen. Yeah, and Ryan Ferguson lives in Chicago now. So Kathleen sees him. So I think she just tweeted a picture of her and Ryan Ferguson the other day. Talia says, I'm sorry I joined late. What are we talking about? Nothing in particular. Just coming on live, whatever anybody wants to talk about. Katerina says, I saw that case about the 10-year-old girl who apparently dropped the baby at the daycare and she got scared and stomped on him. Have you heard anything on this case? Being in Canada, I don't see too many updates. No, I don't know about that one. Lynn says he will make you cry, Paul. Yeah. Andrea says, had Earl stopped bugging you? Yeah, I haven't heard from him other than getting the ticket for trespassing. Tracy says, this new petition they have, will you explain that? What petition? Let me know what petition you're referring to, Tracy. Kate says, what was Carla and Richard Donovan talking about when she mentioned the phone call during the live and saying put 2 and 2 together? So confusing. Who knows? They're always grasping at things to try and make me out to be the devil. Millie says, we all aren't whack jobs from England. No, I'm just meaning that particular one's a whack job. She's nuts. That girl is, truly certifiable. And she's one of those weirdos that she told me that her dream was to become a prison nurse. And so she wanted to be assigned to the prison that Scott Peterson is in because she wants to have sex with him. And then she because she becomes a pen pal with all these different killers. And so she begged me to look into this one case that was from Detroit. So please help him. And so I looked into the case, and the guy's a cop killer. He did it. There's no mistaking that he killed the cop, running from the cop, shot the guy. No, I'm not touching that. The guy's guilty. Just because you support, again, some people that are wrongfully accused doesn't mean you believe everybody who's in prison are innocent. There's horrible people in the world, and they need to be in prison. That guy deserves to be in prison. She's crazy. And she used to put her kid, she would take pictures and post her kid, and then people would attack the poor child. And so then I was going behind the scenes getting people, somebody kept making YouTube videos about her, but they would bring up her kid. And so then I would message them and ask them to take it down, and they would then complain about her. And I would I get it. You want to rip on that girl all you want, but please take off when you're including her kid, because her kid's a young kid and he's not asking for this. The kid was 6 or 7, so please take down any pictures of her kid just because she posted it. Don't use that as a target. oh my God, she's crazy. Katerina says, is it true Netflix will be adding a movie for Corrupt Kratz? Not that I'm aware of. I know they're shopping around a Gilter's version. Hold on, I need a drink. And they've been saying for over a year now, oh, it's coming out. It's coming out, but they can't find a place that will air it so far. So, I don't know if that thing's ever going to be shown. Talia says, Jax, what if they poison Steven against you so much that when he gets out, he never realizes what all has been done? I know you do this with the best of intentions, but I don't want you to get hurt. I can't get hurt. And I appreciate you saying that. But if the family poisons him against me, they've poisoned him against me. I really don't care. If Steven says horrible things about me, the same things the family say, whatever. It's their family, and I guess he's going to take their word over anything else. That's fine. It truly doesn't change my life. I still believe Steven is innocent of this crime, and he was framed. And so that will be that. No matter, when I started my Making a Murderer journey, I didn't talk to anybody in the family. Didn't know anybody. Didn't do, so same thing for all of you out there. You don't talk to Steven. Does it change your support of him? No. I went into this just wanting to spotlight this is wrong and something should be done. Tammy says this entire ordeal is a mess. Yeah. Lynn says that fam is freaking cuckoo. Yeah. Lynn says, how did Richard get into the middle? Richard Donovan. My history with Richard Donovan. He used to be a supporter. And then he switched to the dark side. He's a druggie, so he's not in his right mind. He's addicted to prescription meds and is a doctor shopper. And so their TMZ had a picture of Brendan's bedroom, look at Brendan's bedroom all ready for Brendan to come home when his conviction had been overturned. And so Richard made a post about Amy, blaming her for it. Now, I had been told from Amy at the time that she didn't do it. Now I'm not so sure about it since I've learned different things about Amy. But I do know Amy sold the first picture. The first picture was when Amy and Barb got the matching tattoos. This tattoo. Hold on. Can you see me? This tattoo here. Ta-da. So Amy sold that picture, and she and Barb, hey, sorry, kids sledding on the snow hill across the street, so my dogs are going to bark at them. Amy sold that picture, and her and Barb were supposed to split it. Amy never gave Barb her half, so that's another thing that Barb and Scott were always pissed off about, that they didn't get half that TMZ money. So Amy had told me that she didn't sell this second picture. Richard made a post saying that she did and attacking Amy. So then I came out swinging at him because I defend my friends. And Richard then has hated me ever since because I defended Amy. But funnily enough, Amy remained friends with him the whole time and then would talk shit about me to him. Whatever. Um, so he originally met Carla, met as in met through the Facebook and bullshit when he was a supporter. And Carla remains buddies with him because she's in all the guilter groups. And she tries to act like, and I saw one of the moderators posts on, look, it's called adulting. If you, I'm going to be swearing, so if you have kids and you have this up so kids can hear, I'm sorry, but fuck you, person Dawn, who says that's adulting. That's, Carla's really good at manipulating and trying to seem like, oh, she's just walking with her head held high and people are entitled to their opinions. If somebody says my son raped and murdered somebody, I'm not going to be going, hey, it's okay that you think that. Let me rest my head on your shoulder. I'm sorry. Yeah, people are entitled to their opinions, but you ain't getting anywhere around me. You think my son committed this crime? Fuck you. So, it's really repulsive to me because he has said really repulsive things about the family. And now, let me tell you this, Carla and Richard. I had nothing to do with that Twitter post. I know, Carla, you think you're all so important with your Facebook groups. You should know just because somebody posts and it says Stephen Avery Project, that it doesn't mean it's me that posted it. I had nothing to do with it. And then here I am, Jax is doing this and Jax is doing that. I didn't do it. I'm not on Twitter. So, and that's funny too that I'm getting the blame when it was TikTok Manitowoc who made the tweet about it that then got shared in here. And I'm not the one who even shared it. It was another moderator. But Jax this and Jax that. I'm always the boogeyman and I'm always going to get the blame, which is fine, whatever. I'm always going to be the bad guy. I didn't post that. I didn't find it. I didn't post it. I didn't have anything to do with that. But it's Richard trying to dig himself out of the hole of the horrible stuff he's said. Sorry, distracted by a message I just got. Because people can't believe what he has said about Dolores. And make no mistakes, he has said horrible things about Dolores. It's been talked about for years that he did. So now they just want to, change that negative attitude and try and put it on me. And I didn't have anything to do with any of it. Scrolling. Andrea says, yeah, Carla works a lot with Sweaty Sweat and their new sidekick, Dick Donovan, working the love triangle. Oh, that's gross. What one is Barb pushing? Was she pushing are you talking about the one for clemency or the one that she keeps calling her law? If you're talking about the one that she calls her law, it's not. And that's how dumb they are, that they don't even look at it, that it has nothing to do with Barb. It's called the Juvenile Interrogation Protection Law. Because juveniles actually need to be protected from Barb. It wouldn't be a Barb law when it says right in there that a juvenile needs to have an attorney present. It doesn't say parent present, because whether or not Barb decides to show up when her kid's going to be interrogated, she's of no help. So it's not the Barb law. It's the Juvenile Interrogation Protection Law. Look at the entire petition and you'll see that it's managed by Injustice Anywhere and Free Brendan. Nothing to do with Barb. So if you're talking about the clemency one, I know she was pushing that for a little bit and then she stopped because somebody finally made her understand that being granted clemency means you're saying you're guilty. So, not the best move for Brendan. Kimberly says, is her name Lynn Hartman? No, nobody I was referring to earlier was Lynn Hartman, but that is a whack job. Millie says, I agree. I hate when people bring children into things. Yeah, I hate it. Heidi says, how much snow did you get? We got none, but we froze our arses off while out for my birthday. Yeah, I haven't been outside. I've let my dogs out a couple times, but it looks like we only got like 3 inches. Rhonda says, hello, just joining the party. Hello, Rhonda. Kimberly says, I friggin' hate Richard Sphincter Donovan. Oh, and him making the big, I'm not even on Twitter anymore because he was kicked off. He didn't leave on his own accord. I mean, he made other fake ones, but he was kicked. Millie says, I'll be back 8:50 p.m. here. Need to get the kids to bed. Thank you for going live, Jax. Well, good night to your kids. It's only 3:00 here. Rhonda says, he's a sick bastard. Several fries short of a Happy Meal. Yeah. Dondi says, I'm sorry, I'm lost. Who is Richard? Just another whack job. Who doesn't have a job, sits on the internet all day, and talks trash about people. That's his life. No, Richard is not Carla's husband. She just likes to flirt with him. Tracy says the one where he could get out, but he would admit to guilt. Okay, so I addressed that too, Tracy. And from what I was told is Barb originally pushed it and then realized it was bad and then withdrew her support of it. But I don't know if she's back to pushing it. Yes, and happy birthday to Heidi. And I'm down to the bottom of your stuff. So, we've been on an hour now. Another case, because I told you I've been watching, which is currently on my TV right now, the ID channel. Monday night, they're doing, I think, is it Monday and Tuesday, because it's a 2-parter, is on the Jinx guy. So, what's his name? Why can't I think of his name right now? So you might want to set your DVRs for that, for the Jinx guy on ID for Monday and Tuesday. It's not happy birthday to me. It's happy birthday to Heidi. My birthday's not till summer. So what is his name, the Jinx? Well, Christy just joined. So, Christy, what's the name of the Jinx guy? I'm like Richard. Well, no, because we were talking about dickbag Richard. I picture the little weasel guy. What is his name? The Jinx dude. I can't think of his name. It's driving me crazy. There you go, Robert Durst. Thank you. See, I knew Christy would have that. Christy's like knows everything. Yep, Christy, you got it. If you've never watched The Jinx, go watch The Jinx first. Was that HBO? People first. Yeah. So watch The Jinx. And then now they're doing a thing on ID channel Monday and Tuesday. So tune in for that. And that's a guy guilty. How many? It's just how many people has he killed, and shows um money doesn't make a good life all the time. Because oh my, yeah, he is creepy, little Weasley guy. So, but the ID channel obviously doesn't have that many sponsors or whatever. And so since I watch it live and you can't just skip commercials, they have the same commercials every break. So I've been seeing this Robert Durst thing over and over and over again. So yeah, tune into that. Oh, it kept changing Durst to first. Yeah. Um, and that's why I am never a grammar Nazi on the internet, because I know my phone and my iPad, when I'm typing stuff, change something and I don't even see it until after I've hit enter. And I was like, no. And my new iPad, for some reason, so like if I write, let's say I write the word it's and I don't put an apostrophe for it's, and I'm expecting it to just correct it, and I just keep typing, but it'll put the word I typed wrong, and then the correct word. And it's just a big mess. I don't know why it's doing that. So I don't automatically assume because somebody spells something wrong that they're just an idiot and need to correct them. This stuff does. Technology. Talia says, so I'm part of this Chris Watts case discussion group, and every time I see a new post, something inside me happens. Have you read anything about that case? No, I have not. I know just basics on it. Sad to say, I haven't read up, even on Stephen's case, on things that, Reddit posts that get made and all that. I'm not up to date on all this stuff. Just had, either I have too much going on, or when I don't have it going on, I'm laying on the couch staring at ID channel or playing solitaire on my iPad. Such is my life. But Chris Watts is the one that killed his wife and children, right? Is that who he is? I see, so, when you're on Facebook and it'll have on the right side saying groups you might be interested in. So it has Chris Watts stuff in there all the time, but I've never looked into it. Nobody else commenting. We've got 33 people here. Anybody else have anything they want to discuss? One new request here. Nobody? I'll talk to Paul this week about doing a live with him. I've also got somebody who has said they wanted to do a live, and then we're just not, his schedule just isn't permitting right now. Talia says, and they have an entire group supporting him because they think his wife drove him to murder. Oh my God. That's crazy. All right, because yeah, I can be a big bitch, and I could see people wanting me dead, but it's not my fault if they kill me. Because isn't killing wrong? And actually, prior to making a murderer, and I don't like to get into politics stuff, this kind of goes that direction, but I don't want it going that direction. Prior to making a murderer, I was very pro death penalty, and now I'm not. Why? Because people like Stephen could possibly be executed. So what's beyond a reasonable doubt? Because guilters will say Stephen is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But no, there's doubt all over the place. So what's beyond a reasonable doubt? I guess because you can't even go off of a confession. Because look at Brendan and Melissa, Central Park 5. So that's why now I can't support the death penalty because, this case changed my view on everything. I used to just go, well, if you were proven guilty, you're guilty. You killed somebody, eye for an eye. String them up. And now I just can't because what if Stephen had been sentenced to death? What if Melissa had been sentenced to death? I just can't. Damien Eccles, West Memphis 3. Julie says Donovan is probably the admin to the Watts group. Dawn says caught on camera. Yeah. Shanda says the whole case is shit. Yeah. Oh my God. She drove him to kill her. You're still guilty. You killed her. Yikes. Yeah. One day I'll look into that stuff, but I'm sure what I'm going to do when I'm done live here, I'm either going to veg out with more ID channel or find something else to binge watch. Oh, that's something I can talk about. I'm supposed to go tomorrow. I have a ticket for John Farrick has a book discussion for Wrecking Crew. So I'm supposed to go to that tomorrow. And when I go, I'll see about getting him to sign a book. And then I will raffle that off. Wasn't I supposed to do some raffle for Melissa for the 10-year? Has anybody been donating to Melissa's? I've just been totally off everything because of I went to several different inaugurations because I worked for a couple. I worked for the Human Rights Campaign, and my job was a political organizer, and so I had to help out on 3 different campaigns, and all 3 of my campaigns won. Yay! So I've gone to 2 of their inaugurations and blah blah blah. So I've been doing political stuff. So I think I was supposed to do something for Melissa, and then and we had those shirts, and that was supposed to be done on the 15th, but that all goes to Jeff, and I haven't discussed with Jeff. So let me find out on the whole shirt thing. I don't know if I only know of one person who told me that they bought one of the gossip shirts. But now are we going to change the name back? So do you want it to say MAM gossip? I don't know. So if you bought a shirt, message me so you can tell me what you want on it. The Kalief Browder story, that's the one that I haven't watched. And I was trying to remember that when I was on Netflix the other day going, oh, what is that one that I'm supposed to look up? Because I don't think I've watched that one. Talia says, yeah, so they are like that. Doesn't matter. She was a narcissistic person and she held him and controlled him and he went into a rage. He was dating another person around the same time and now the police have put her in the witness protection program. Oh, wow. Lily, you did what again? Julie says a new show called Proven Innocent will be on a major TV network very soon. Can't remember what network. Here. Proven Innocent. Oh, no results found. Okay. Hi, Clive and Sandy from York. Julie says, I have to wait until February before I can order a shirt to benefit Melissa. Yeah, Paul's got Kathleen Zellner had made a bunch of shirts. They're just black t-shirts, and then the front says Free Melissa, and the back says Justice Denied. And there's a handful of those shirts left. And so one point, because he was always trying to sell the ones that are left over. So tried selling them. I only had like 2 or 3 people. Oh, okay. I'll check into that, Lily, who just messaged me. So we might make more shirts and try and sell those. Oh my God, it's sad. Thumbs back up to you, Lily. The saddest is still, well, I haven't seen the Khalif story, so I don't know. Dear Zachary. I'm going to end up having to watch it again, Dear Zachary. I don't want to because, I mean, that's one where I sob so much it like hurts my chest with how much I cry. But the parents in that are phenomenal. Love them. Talia says, I live in Pakistan and we don't have PayPal, but I want to order a Making a Murderer shirt. What do I do? Huh. Is anybody else on here who lives out of the country? How do you do that if you don't have PayPal? Or maybe it's something that you could and my boyfriend's home from plowing. So I'll be ending this soon since let's see, is he even going to plow our driveway? So I'll be ending this since he's home. But I don't know if that's something because like I know my boyfriend is the one who makes the shirts. So like you can contact him directly and pay him directly, maybe. But it's also it sucks when you don't live in the States because it charges so much for international shipping. So, yeah, so let's look into that. Gandhi says, I watched documentary Abducted in Plain Sight last night. It's crazy that a man could get to an innocent little girl through her family. That's another one I've heard about. Long time no see, Maureen. So, all right. So sorry, I'll be cutting this short now because he's just going to be walking in and I'll visit with him a bit. His name is Jeff Tarrant. Tarant. So, all right. So I'm going to clock out here and visit with him. And maybe I'll go live soon because, like I said, I'll go tomorrow. I don't think we're getting any more snow. I think tomorrow is just supposed to be really, really cold. So I'll go to the John Ferrick Wrecking Crew thing and let you guys know how that went. So, all right, I'm out. Have a great rest of your weekend.